Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our expert talk, which is all about technology, based on the subject of We Take Care of It. During this talk, our technical experts give you technology insights on various Lysec products. So first, let me say hello to my guests here. We have Mr. Stefan Walter, who is our product manager for software. Welcome to Mr. Markus Lehninger, our engineering manager for insulating glass, Mr. Markus Jandl, who is responsible for product management, and Mr. Christoph Stöffelbauer, who is our product manager for glass cutting. My first question is for you, Mr. Walter. I heard that a new Lysec software architecture is going to be introduced. Why a new architecture?
Well, our vision in Lysec is to bring state-of-the-art technology to the glass industries, which is basically a modularized backend combined with a flexible front-end to serve today's demand on high-end software solutions. Most important for us is that the customer can focus on their business instead of being busy focusing on operating and maintaining software systems.
Okay, so what are the main innovations in the backend and front-end?
The backend is based on microservices and running in a containerized environment, an example Docker, which gives us a great flexibility, scalability, and performance. The interface towards the front end is based on a RESTful API, which are not just serving our front ends, but also providing us a standardized connection point for third-party applications. The front ends itself are mainly based on web apps, running on Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Safari, and Firefox, and therefore operating in Microsoft Windows, Linux, macOS, and other devices, as long as they provide one of the previously mentioned browsers. The other part of the front end is mobile device applications based on Android and iOS.
So sounds like Lysec customers will indeed benefit from those new features. What about cloud readiness? Is it cloud ready?
Definitely. Cloud readiness was one of our ultimate goals. All our new products are running in the cloud, but we still provide on-premise installations for our flagship products, for example, order management, production management. Have a glimpse on the new products and get an experience of the new architecture.
Is there already a new product from Lysec which is running on that new architecture?
Yes, our new first product on the new architecture is called LysDispatch. LysDispatch is a complete delivery solution running only in the cloud. The planning process of LysDispatch is done in the web browser, and the delivery process itself, from loading trucks, delivering and unloading trucks, are provided through a mobile app. We have incorporated technologies, an example, Google Maps for navigation, digital signature for proof of delivery. Have a look into LysDispatch and see the ability and performance of the new architecture.
Thanks, Mr. Walter, for those insights. My next question is for you, Mr. Lehninger. You are an expert on insulating glass machinery. Out of the portfolio, one machine is the LBHB, an automatic butyl extruder. How can a uniform application of butyl be ensured?
First, there's one to say the LBHB extruder has a new technical dosing system where you can set up the butyl amount really with a parameter defined in grams per meter. This is done by a volumetric closed-loop dosing system. With such a system, you can ensure that even you have variances in the temperature or in the material flow properties, or also when you have interruption in production, you have always the right amount of butyl on the rigid spacer bars. And with these properties, you have always the best possible quality when producing insulating glass, and also a minimum amount of butyl consumption. And also the behavior when you are pressing the IG elements is best from the view to the process, the overpressure inside the elements when you press them.
So in a nutshell, you are more or less talking about an automatic measurement system. What is the advantage when implementing an automatic measurement system?
Yeah, for instance, another machine, the secant filler, the ARL 45F, we have also a measurement system inside, and with this system you can measure while you're filling in the secant in the spacer bars, and in combination with the software option, the link to the production system, you can set the amount of the secant inside the bar from 0 to 100%. So this is a very important part of the whole solution, also to ensure a very effective use of the secant.
Is the concept of an automatic dosing / measurement also used with other Leisig machines?
Yeah, of course, we also have at our TPA applicator a volumetric closed loop dosing system. Also there we have some variations in the material properties and also very different TPS materials on the market, and all materials can be applicated with our machinery. Another point at the TPA is we have a material management system with 2 buffers, each 20 liters volume, and so it is also possible to produce without any interruption while you change the material drum. The whole TPA process on the IG line is very sensitive, of course, to thermal influences, and therefore if you don't have a continuous production flow on the line, we also have on the necessary points on the line additional heating systems to ensure also best quality if you have a not stationary production. Of course, the wet out between the TPS material and the glass surface takes some time, and if it's necessary, we can also accelerate this process by an option before the sealing robot with a sophisticated additional heating system going around the IG elements and heat this area up to accelerate the wet out process.
Going into more details, are there any measurement systems among the Leisig portfolio which have recently been refined?
We have refined the dosing system for the gas metering inside our presses, especially the HEP press and also the FPS press. This new system, which we have refined from the older one, in combination with a special sealing system to ensure always the minimum size of the filling chamber around the element, which has, of course, with our batch size 1 in the production always a different size. In combination with this sealing, the gas consumption is always on the minimum possible level, but we also have a very high gas filling level near to 100%.
Thanks very much. One last question. You talked about sealing machines. What are the main advantages of Leisig sealing machines? What would you say?
The main advantages are we have a full support belt with support jaws to support each pane of the IG element, especially for triple and quad units. With these support belts you avoid any sinking in relation to the gravity. This full support belt is now also with an automatic cleaning system available, and the support jaws can easily changed, and the material of this support jaws is now also very resistant to mechanical stress. The dosing systems of our sealing robots can support up to 3 materials, different materials, so polyurethane, polysulfide, and silicone. Another very important point is the dosing system consists of a mixing section where the 2 components, the A and the B material, are mixed, and this mixing section has a very minimal dead volume. So therefore, in combination with an automatic purge algorithm, you can ensure always a minimum of waste, because the system has to be purged when you stop the production to stop also the chemical process between the A and the B component. The machine is very robust, and of course you can also produce step units, especially 4-sided step units, and we have also already done some AG lines where we produce also fire-resistant glass.
Thanks, Mr. Lehninger, for pointing out those advantages of Leisig sealing machines. Let's jump to Mr. Jandl. How can Leisig guarantee a constant production process with less rejects and less operator influence?
At laminated glass products, there are a lot of different combinations, different glass types, different folds, and so on. Each product has its own recipe to achieve the best quality with a fast cycle time. In the past, the operator have checked the pre-laminated sample after the pre-nip process and have adjusted the recipe. Of course, there was always an influence of the operator if he has less experience or he was not interested to constantly adjust the recipe.
What in detail does Leisig offer to overcome the issue of rejects and operator influence?
Yeah, the new Leisig solution is an automatic recipe adjustment according to lamination temperature of each product. That means after the production of the laminated glass, the temperature is automatically detected and adjust the recipe. This guarantees always a constant quality. And of course, with this improvement, we have also analyzed interruptions. For example, if there is a break, lunchtime, the system knows or detects this break and also adjusts automatically the recipe. This guarantees then always a constant production. And at the end of the day, we have completely reduced the operator influence, and the operator have only to do logistical work.
Very interesting. Thanks a lot. Mr. Stöffelbauer, you're responsible for cutting machines, and you were also in the past responsible for loading and sorting equipment among the Leisig portfolio. How does Leisig technology take care about these processes?
Yeah, generally speaking, the glass stock and the glass cutting equipment of every enterprise doesn't matter if it is an insulating glass supplier or it is a glass processing company. The loading equipment and the cutting equipment are the basis, and therefore we focus on high availability and also a flexibility of this process, and to guarantee that our customers have always the equipment available, and this is what we have in mind when we think about taking care about this kind of process.
Could you give us an example?
Yes, sure. As I mentioned, the glass stock is one of the most important parts of every glass manufacturer, and the glass loading process is a very manual process. So, for example, the glass get delivered with an inloader glass truck, and the employee has to unload every glass pack manually from the inloader into the glass stock. Therefore, we are using the data which one is located on every glass package on the paper label to scan this paper label and use this data for our stock system. So we are collecting out of this paper label the number of sheets which one are in this package, the number of the glass type, are there any cover sheets located, and then we are taking care about that the operator knows where to place this glass package inside the stock system. This is on the one hand, and on the other hand, our stock system is learning during the production where is every glass located and where could be, for example, a better position for each glass type, and giving the operator a recommendation for the next glass loading process where the glass should be located to reduce cycle time during the loading process.
You listed a lot of benefits. Are there any further benefits?
Yes, especially when we are focusing on glass cutting and optimizing the glass cutting result in terms of reducing glass waste and therefore also glass costs. We are using since many years the defect maps from the glass suppliers for the optimization to create a better optimization result, and therefore to reduce also glass waste. This is running that way. We are receiving from the glass manufacturers the defect maps. We are loading them into our dynamic optimization with an additional option. Then this dynamic optimization is rearranging the optimization result and putting the defects into the waste area. And therefore, it is possible for us to use also B quality glass and reduce glass cost by using this data.
I heard that you're also working on a new cutting table for float glass. How does this table take up the idea of we take care of it?
Yes, as Markus mentioned, also the war for talent taking part in our industry. So getting skilled employees which one aware about glass and about the surface of the glass and about knowledge to how to cut it is getting more and more a problem. And so during the last year we focused, during the development of the DSCA new float glass cutting table, we focused detailed on to understand the process of cutting float glass and to delete the surface and to remove the coating. And this is necessary to serve a machine which one is taking care about more or less about the total process. So give you an example, in the future this is possible to run this kind of float cutting machine without any operator knowledge, because the parameters which one we are using for every kind of glass are stored in the receipts, and the float cutting table take care about which cutting wheel is needed, which cutting pressure is needed, which cutting speed and acceleration is needed. It's taking care about when the wheel should get changed and if the cutting oil is getting empty. And this is our vision, that we are collecting more and more process relevant data and to ensure a high accurate and available process with high quality for future developments for sure.
Thanks, Mr. Stöffelbauer, for those insights. And finally, I fired all my questions, so we come to the end of that talk. Gentlemen, thanks very much for giving us technology insights, and also to our online guests, thanks for joining us.